I just thought I'd do a quick video this morning, just to cheer you all up on a Monday morning, talk about critical illness. But it's such a really important thing. I speak to many people who just have life insurance in place, and it's probably a common theme now of a lot of these videos and posts I do, that life insurance is the one that you probably least like to claim on. It's the one that most people are sold. It's the one most people have. But critical illness is, one of the real big ones that you should have, but also as well is really know what you have on your policy. For those who don't know, critical illness is there to protect you in the event of things such as cancer, heart attack, stroke. And it usually runs in line with your mortgage. So if you were to get cancer or you would have a heart attack, then the mortgage will be paid off, and if you require any treatment, obviously then you can do that, and knowing that you haven't got to worry about the mortgage payments. There's a caveat to that. Obviously, I mentioned, I think it was the last video I did, that your mortgage isn't the only bill to go out. So if you do have a heart attack or get cancer or whatever else, then you want to really get on with that treatment as peace free as possible and not have to worry about money. So then income protection policies come into play, etc., etc. But I don't want to go into that too much. But what I do want to talk about is the importance of having a really good quality critical illness policy. Now, when I became qualified and started to really gain experience in insurance and personal and business protection, one of the first things I did was come back home and I doubled the price of our monthly premiums. And the reason for doing so was that although we had critical illness policy in place and although we had life insurance policy in place, we had nothing really to protect our children. And also that there were far better critical illness policies out there. And the reason that you should go and check your critical illness policies is because the definitions included in the policies, especially if you took them out 5, 10, 15 years ago, a lot of things have changed. So things like in policies many years ago, it had, levels in for heart attacks. Some policies even had loss of limbs. So people were making claims when they lost a limb thinking that they were covered, but they weren't because they had to lose more than one. But the good news for people is since then, obviously, the Financial Conduct Authority and everything else have really clamped down on these things. But if you're still on one of those old policies, then those definitions still stand. So you may think you're covered for some of these illnesses, but there may not be a great chance of those paying out. So the first thing I can do is have a look for you, free of cost. And if that I feel that the definitions aren't really suitable for you, and you haven't really got the cover like you thought, then obviously I can advise on that. I can give you options in terms of another policy. But if everything's absolutely fine and you've got great definitions, then I can leave it alone, and you can rest assured that you've got a very good policy in place. The reason why price with critical illness, it shouldn't be seen as one of cheapness. Now, I always say this to people: it's great because a lot of the time I can save people money because people have had the pants pulled down in the past, and that's just a fact. But sometimes it isn't always about saving money. It's about getting that peace of mind and that protection, that knowing when something happens to you, your children, the family, then you know that you're covered ultimately. Now, you can't really sort of scrimp and scrape on that because, like most things in life, the cheaper it is doesn't always mean the better. So don't always see critical illness policies as one that is just purely about cheapness. Make sure you know those definitions, make sure you know what you're covered for, and make sure that should one of those things happen to you, your children, your family, your loved ones, that policy pays out. Simple as that. So like I mentioned, we doubled our policy because double our premiums, because our policy, we changed it to, and our policy was quite good, but we changed it one that was far better. And therefore we pay for that, but we know, and we have that peace of mind knowing that should anything happen, that policy is highly likely to pay out in the event of a heart attack, stroke, cancer, etc. And we also have the children included and everything else. So we never looked at that as a price. Obviously, yes, everyone has their own budget, but if you can fit it into your budget, then get the best insurance policy. It's simple as that. Why go for the cheapest? Because that's the one that is least likely to cover you. It's common sense, So if you're sitting there in a really cheap policy and you think you're covered, then get in touch with me. It's quite simple. I can have a look through the policy. I do all the legwork. I'll have a look. If I can't better the policy and you're on a great policy, I'll tell you that. I'll say, I'm not going to waste my time because it's perfect for what you need and you're covered. But if you're not, then I'll provide you with that advice. If you're still happy with what you've currently got, then so be it. But at least you know that you've been checked and you know where you stand. And I don't think you can really ask for much more than that.